On the 16th of December, the KwaZulu-Natal government welcomed Ethiopian Airlines to the state-of-the-art King Shaka International Airport. This saw an Ethiopian and KZN private and public delegation hold a special press briefing to launch Ethiopian Airlines services to the shores of Natal.
Let me say that this was a valuable investment by the Republic of South Africa in this airport. We invested 7.8 billion rand in building the state-of-the-art facility that it has now become. It's an iconic facility. And at the backdrop of that investment, we're now being able to see the results that are coming in fast.
It's been quite an historical journey. The airport is just 5 years old. 2010, 1st of May we opened, and it seems like it's 25 years old because of the way we've managed it. But it's been very successful in terms of its development and what is happening around us. I think that's the big issue. What is exciting currently and presently is the new airlines that are coming to our shores and changing the landscape of airlines flying into KZN and to Durban particularly.
Firstly, as a province, we are very much delighted and we welcome this development. Very much delighted that KwaZulu-Natal is now linked as a province with the Horn of Africa and Ethiopia in particular as a country.
We have 53 destinations within Africa and 92 destinations all over the world. And we wanted to connect the population of KwaZulu-Natal to the rest of Africa and to the world. And as we see, Durban is like the world in pocket size. It has Africans, Indians, Europeans. So we fly to all those places, and Durban has one of the biggest seaports, which constitutes more than half of the entire import into South Africa. So we want to participate in multimodal cargo fleet from here to the SADC region, to the Comesa region and the rest of that, and to bring tourists, because Durban is a very beautiful tourist place, to bring tourists from Europe, Gulf, Middle East, Asia, and America and the rest of Africa.
They're coming fast because today, as we are launching the Ethiopian airline inaugural flight, tomorrow we're also launching the Qatar airline. So on the back-to-back basis, it tells you that we are seeing now airlines beginning to use the facility.
Airports Company South Africa, we run and manage 9 airports in South Africa, and the 3 big ones being King Shaka International, Cape Town International, and OR Tambo International. We are, on a quarterly basis, we are surveyed by international companies and organizations like ACI Africa and Skytrax to look at service. And we are pitted against 300 and 400 airports around the world. And I must say, South African airports, including King Shaka International Airport, stand out very well. I think we're probably in the top 10 of airports when it comes to service excellence and service delivery.
King Shaka International Airport has a runway of 3.7 kilometers compared to the old Durban Airport, which had a restricting runway of 2.4 kilometers. This new facility has 18 passenger aircraft stands and has largely been utilized as a domestic airport.
The airport is a catalyst for economic growth and it's supply and demand. The more airlines we get, the more business we do, the more job creation. When the airport was being built, we had close to about 8,000 people working here, building the airport. That's a legacy in itself. People were part and parcel of building this giant airport. Now it's about job creation within the structures of the airport. As we get more airlines coming in, business develops and there's more job creation. What is the nicest thing about this airport? It is in the middle of communities, and we serve communities. It's a giant 7.5 billion structure that's here, that's serving the communities around here. So our source of resources are coming from the communities around it. That's exciting, that's a legacy. And we do a lot of social economic development work within those communities to show them that the airport is accessible and people must look at creating careers at the airport. So we will create the jobs in the future.
If I may go back a bit slightly, is that we have always held an international status. However, the market was not adequately stimulated that it was being used primarily as an international destination by the airlines. A lot of good work has been done in partnership of all the stakeholders, including ATNS and primarily AXA, in bringing the World Routes 2015 to Durban this year. And out of that have come a lot of deals that have seen the international utilization of the airport growing.
When we built this airport, we certainly wanted to create infrastructure that can last us long. And this airport has a 60-year master plan. So in 60 years, if we are handling 45 million passengers, you could see a dramatic change in terms of we'll have a second terminal opposite this terminal and a second runway in 60 years. So that's a big party to have, and I hope you all can be there. But certainly it's about creating infrastructure that helps the development for the future.
Ethiopian Airlines joins Turkish Airlines, which recently launched direct flights from Durban to Istanbul, followed by Qatar with direct flights to Doha.
We have been very aggressive. For the first time, we have got flights that are now linking us with Europe through Istanbul in Turkey. We also have got flights that are linking us with the GCC countries through Qatar in Doha. We now have got linking us with the headquarters of the AU in Addis Ababa, in Africa. So you can see that we are very strategic. And I've said we will, and people must know, we are not going to take our foot out of the pedal as yet. We are involved in very intense negotiations with other airlines. What we don't do on our side, we don't say who are we negotiating with until there is a deal on the table.
Certainly the airport is new. The airport has been built with a 3.7 kilometer runway as compared to the old airport at the 2.4 restricting runway. This airport terminal that we're standing in now can cater for 7.5 million passengers. That's the capacity of it. And we're currently handling 4.5 million passengers, which means we still got enough space to accommodate more passengers. On the infrastructure side, in terms of the terminal and the air side of it, we call it the aircraft park, we're certainly looking at reviewing our master plan to accommodate. The current airlines that are flying into Durban and King Shaka International Airport, we can accommodate them. And that's what we're excited about, is that these airlines are coming. And it's a new age aircraft, 787 Dreamliners, the 777s, Airbus 380, we can accommodate all those type of aircraft.
One of the things that we are trying to do, and we know that the Ethiopian airline is one of the airlines in the continent that has invested in buying 6 biggest freighters, the B777 biggest freighters. Now we want to see one of those freighters servicing the route between Addis and Durban.
King Shaka International Airport Durban is not a new place for us. We used to be operating to Durban from the year 1994 to 1998. Now, when we heard that the ground support equipment and the facilities of the airport have been refurbished to the ideal level, we are now making a comeback. And this is because of various things. Because South Africa is the second largest economy on the continent, and Ethiopia is the second largest population in Africa, and Ethiopian Airlines has the largest African network in the entire history of aviation.
The airline operates one of the youngest fleet in the history of aviation, with an average fleet age of 5 years.
And today we brought the Dreamliner Boeing 787, which is ultra modern, which is fuel conserving, good for the environment, and it has the largest windows flying in the skies, and it has 270 seaters. Now we are operating thrice weekly, but when the traffic builds, we will come all the more with daily flight and twice daily flight. That's what we are planning to do. For example, Johannesburg, we are operating 10 times a week, every day plus 3 days, twice in a day. And we fly to Cape Town 6 times a week. Now this is the 3rd gateway for us into South Africa, and the 53rd destination in Africa, and 92nd all over the world.
The government of KwaZulu-Natal sees the launch of these international direct flights between King Shaka International Airport and Addis Ababa, strengthening tourism and intertrade.
And what would that mean in nominal terms? It would mean, therefore, that where we've been exporting particular perishables and time-sensitive goods to Ethiopia, taking longer, we will now cut that period by almost to about 5.5 hours. It would mean, therefore, that our products will now get into the shelves in Ethiopian retail within a period of 6 hours out of the airport, from Durban. So it means we are going to become competitive. In today's economy, what matters the most is not the big eating the small, it is the speed. If you can therefore respond in the modern age faster and become much more responsive and deliver on time, you are the winner.
But in particular for our young people, in the conference that was held here on airports and airlines, we had a discussion with the representative of the Ethiopian airline, and they told us, among other things, that they are opening one of the rare schools for pilots and engineers. And we are going to continue those discussions, exploring possibility of taking some of our young people to go and get training in Ethiopia as pilots, as engineers for aeroplanes. And these are all the things that we are very happy about in terms of opening up possibilities for KwaZulu-Natal.
We are seeing now airlines beginning to use the facility. This is happening because the government of the province, working together with the city of Durban and together with other role players, we have a particular, very clear leadership focus where we are actually leading everybody in a particular direction. And the direction is that we have become very aggressive in the courtship, in courting airlines to come and land here.
Coming up, KwaZulu-Natal's government's plan to transform King Shaka International Airport into an airtropolis, and we go behind the airport's Traffic and Navigation Operations Centre. The influx of international flights into Durban's King Shaka International Airport means more air traffic. The all-important job managing the air traffic to and from the airport is a task that Sibusiso Nkabinde and his team at the Air Traffic and Navigation Services Tower take very seriously. ATNS is a state-owned company founded by the Air Traffic Navigation Services Act of 1993, which provides services to South Africa's 21 strategic airports, including King Shaka International.
We are responsible for 10% of the airspace, which is halfway to South America across the Atlantic Ocean, all the way down to the South Pole, halfway to Australia on the Indian Ocean, and then including the land territory that we have. In addition to this, our market is global in that we are targeting to provide, and in fact are already providing similar services on the African continent and other associated or selected markets internationally. What we do for King Shaka is to provide the air traffic control for airports operating in and out of this airport. We provide a slot management system which ensures that each and every single operator that flies in and out of here has got a particular window of time in which they should come in and they should go out, and therefore that makes the airport fully coordinated.
ATNS's 42-member strong team is responsible for the safe flow of air traffic in and out of King Shaka International and the KwaZulu-Natal airspace, with a further 21 technical crew who are tasked with maintaining the airport's air traffic infrastructure.
However, to start with the technology side, the equipment that we have around us here, which is our air traffic management tool, is one which is left with very little few years of its lifespan, as much as it is leading edge technology. Now, we are currently in the process of replacing our air traffic management tool with the latest that will be available. In fact, in partnership with our service provider, what they have designed for us is something that does not exist yet, which will put us at the forefront here of technological advancement in the air traffic management space.
With this new technology, aircrafts will cease to depend on ground infrastructure for navigation. Another benefit will see a reduction of carbon emission.
How we do is that we have a network amongst the airport and in fact amongst air navigation services providers globally, whereby we have got a seamless communication between air traffic controllers. So if an aircraft files a flight plan is a document of intent to fly. And the information of that aircraft and its details and where it's going and when it's going and how long it's going to take to get there is submitted to us. We take that information and we disseminate it to all the airports that need to know about it. Whether it's somebody who is flying from here at King Shaka to Johannesburg, or it's somebody who's flying from here in Johannesburg to Hong Kong. Every single air navigation services provider that is going to talk to this aircraft will know before he takes off. By the time that he takes off, we then ensure everybody knows this guy is taken off so that they know when to expect them. Then we speak to the guy and he takes off. These air traffic controllers that are sitting in this tower that we are in are controlling this aircraft by means of visual sight. As soon as the aircraft is airborne and they can no longer see it, they hand it over to another sector, which is then controlling this aircraft based on radar technology, or let me say surveillance technology.
ATNS has a seamless interboundary communication between states, which ensures the safety of aircrafts from gate to gate globally.
Currently, we are, as I indicated earlier, integrating both ground-based and space-based technology. Before they hand it over to that controller already knows about it. Even at an interboundary level between states, before an aircraft is going to cross the South African boundary into Zimbabwean or Lesotho or Namibian airspace, they already know about it. And that aircraft, the estimates that we push forward are accurate to within 3 minutes. That in fact, should that aircraft not be in contact with the relevant party within that 3 minutes, we all start looking for that guy and find out where he is and what is wrong.
With more than 4.5 million passengers passing through King Shaka International every year, the airport seeks to increase this number and welcome more international passengers. One of the exciting initiatives that will help support this growth is Durban's plan to create a multi-modal logistical seat-to-air platform, an innovation underway through the Durban trade port.
Well, for us, the aerotropolis is very crucial. In fact, it works perfectly on the idea that today's economies, let me say this, put it correctly, in the 19th century, turn of the 19th century, economic development was driven by your railways, and then it was your roads. Now, it is the turn of airports to become critical drivers of the economy.
This particular time is very exciting because this is where we're experiencing real growth of King Shaka International Airport, but also of Durban Trade Port. And our vision is that of this area growing into an aerotropolis. There are buildings that are coming here, business is growing left and right, and this is fast growth.
The airport is an economic driver. It's an economic catalyst. If you take a bird's eye view of what is happening around us, you'll find there's a lot of development, a lot of construction. It's all about the future. This airport is a legacy airport. Certainly the Durban Trade Port and their plans for the next few years is to create this Durban city.
Tomorrow, Qatar Airlines is also landing here, and the people who are representing us there, we said already they must have discussions on trade on vegetables between us and Qatar. And they've told us that the discussions have gone very well. And those people are like coming here and they want us to have discussions in terms of how we'll open up a business for KwaZulu-Natal people in agriculture and link them up with Qatar and the rest of the Emirates.
The 2,840-hectare development is ideally positioned 30 minutes away from Africa's busiest cargo port, Durban Harbour, and 90 minutes away from Richards Bay Harbour, with its main focus to improve trade.
Be doing what is called a multimodal logistic platforms. In other words, is sea-to-air connectivity. Now, we are almost doing that, achieving that dream now. Why? Because the aerotropolis is about the aeronautical business and transportation business linked to airports. So it is not just about what happens in the airport, within the airport activities, it is beyond what happens there. And that is why you see this innovation of a city within a city that is now coming up through the Durban Trade Port. But over and above that, the synergies between both the Durban port and this airport, King Shaka International Airport, are phenomenal. The synergies between this airport and the Richards Bay harbour are also phenomenal. But on the back-to-back, we're also talking about a light rail, so it can become a feeder to this airport, both on the passenger side, but also on the cargo side. So we have got people who have got a very clear vision of where we are going.
Durban, here we come. The great city of Durban, the great country of South Africa, the great continent of Africa, and Ethiopian Airlines is here today. And the great civilization of the Zulu Kingdom, Kwa-Zulu Natal, which is a counterpart of one of the most ancient civilizations on the continent of Africa, with the Aksumite Kingdom of Ethiopia.
Our theme and our slogan that says KwaZulu-Natal is the gateway to Africa and to the world is now really being fulfilled. And for us, for that, is a mission accomplished. And we are very happy. But in the main, at the level of tourism, at the level of business, and at the level of human relations, this is a very great development, because it means that we are going to find it very easy as people of KwaZulu-Natal to get to know more about Ethiopia and about Addis Ababa, and the people there are going to get to know more about us in Durban and about us in KwaZulu-Natal. And that, you know, when people get to know each other better, and when people get to relate to each other better, especially in the corporate world, it means possibilities and potential growth of business.
It is this collaborative spirit of the people and leadership of KwaZulu-Natal that puts the province at a competitive and comparative advantage, with the airport and Durban Trade Port continuing to propel the province's economy to new heights.